No more situationships,
Mm-mm.
no more F boys. We're going to give you the tools today.
Yes, welcome, ladies. This is going to be such a fire episode. We're going to teach you exactly how to choose a man in dating. And even if you're married, that's okay. This is still going to help you. And for the new people here, what's up? I'm Natasha.
And I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor, of course, marrying my beautiful wife, who formerly was a single mom of
Mhm.
4 kids.
Yes. And so this channel is different because we're going to talk about your nervous system. We're going to talk about your hormones and your feminine energy. And what we are going to do, ladies, is we are going to stop choosing men based on chemistry, based on butterflies in the tummy, based on physical attraction, because these things, you haven't healed your nervous system, you haven't healed your attachment styles, your trauma wounds, and you have a certain type, and your type is your trauma. And what you're doing is you're choosing men based on these requirements. And because of it, you're getting stuck attracting men that are breadcrumbing you, that are not great husbands, that are not great partners, that are not in their masculine provider energy, like my amazing husband and the women that we coach.
Yes. And we're going to help get you out of the cycle
Mm-hmm.
of these same short term relationships that start off with so much passion and so
Yep.
much fire, so much chemistry. Then they flame out over time because the foundation of how the relationships started
Mm-hmm.
isn't something that's solid and allows it to move forward.
Yeah, this is going to be life changing for you. This is something that we specialize in. This is something I was really learning and specializing even before my husband came into the picture, because I was a widowed single mom with
Mm.
4 little kids. My kids were so little, you guys. I had 2 of my kids were still in car seats. Okay, like if you're a mom, you understand the work of having kids in car seats. That's how little my kids were. And I had went through a whole bunch of trauma and loss. I was a former RN.
Mm.
I went back to school, became certified in hormone coaching, and not only nursed myself back to health and learned about feminine energy and hormones and nervous system re-regulation and all of those things, but now we have a massive community. We have helped over 1,000 women
Yes.
up to this point in these 3 areas specifically: the nervous system re-regulating, the hormones, weight loss, but also dating and
Yes.
in marriage.
So let's get those questions ready. We're going to jump right in. We're going to make sure we address your questions as we go on. So please get those questions ready. But let's jump right in.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 requirements, and these are the requirements that I used when dating for marriage,
Mm.
specifically for marriage. And this is what we teach our ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy. This is going to become your North Star, ladies. Okay. So lean in, take notes. If you're just listening in the background, make sure you come back and rewatch this,
Mm.
because it's going to help you. And also, if you want deeper help with this, then of course we coach people in the Feminine Energy Academy. We actually had a marriage
Yes.
last week. One
Yes.
of our ladies from Africa actually recently got
Yes.
married, and then just a month ago, last month, we had another former single mom break out of her past situationships relationship and is now engaged to be married, but
Yes.
to another provider husband. So
And a couple of weeks
yeah,
ago in our master class, we had a couple of ladies that just got engaged
yeah.
in the master class, just going over the
Hmm.
steps that they took. So definitely jump in their free trial right now. So you can jump in and have access, binge watch, do whatever you need to do.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's get into it. So, what we are not going to do, ladies, okay, you're going to stop doing this, is we're going to stop choosing men that you're dating. If you're on the dating apps or you're out and about,
Mm.
just observe, just see what your patterns are. Don't judge yourself. Just get curious. But you're going to stop uh, dating men, attracting men, choosing men on the dating apps based on how they look.
Yes.
Okay, that is probably one of the biggest things you're going to stop doing, because a lot of times when you as a woman, and this is very subconscious, it's programmed in your nervous system, a lot of women are in their masculine energy.
Mm.
They're in that chasing mode. And when you are in your masculine energy, the masculine we know is visual, right? The masculine's visual. That's how the masculine brain has been wired. They're hunters. So they're very visual. So they choose their mate based on physical attraction.
Mm.
And then, of course, other things like compatibility
Mm.
and how they feel in your presence is also huge. But the first thing is the physical attraction. But for women, When you are doing that, when you are choosing men to date and to hook up with based on physical attraction, oh, he's handsome. Oh,
Mm,
he's so cute. Oh, I love how he's so dark and tall and athletic and whatever you, or he drives a really nice car. I love how he dresses,
right.
all that stuff. You are now in your masculine. And a lot of men, not all men, but a lot of men that are really into their
Yes.
looks, how they are presenting themselves or spending hours in the mirror, those men are actually very much in their feminine
Mm,
receiving mode. And so even though they might look macho on the outside, and that's what you think masculine is, but it's not, they're actually very feminine
yes.
in when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're on these dating sites and
Hmm.
you're swiping every 2 seconds, then you're probably in your masculine. That's what men do.
Ooh,
Men
that's
just
good.
need to see a face, see
Hmm.
the body. Okay, this is good, this isn't good. But as a lady in your feminine, what you want to
Hmm.
do is really, because a lot of times men might not write a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
really look where he's at in the pictures. Look to see if he's talking about things that he likes to do, what type of work he does. If it's just all pictures where he's flexing, all pictures where he's just showing his smile, how cute he is, then be careful, because he might not be that much in his feminine. It's more about how he looks, it's more about how he presents himself. He's showing pictures where he's in his cars, he's doing things that please the eye, but what is he really doing to show that he wants to be a provider in a relationship? So even on these dating sites, you can see if this person is in their masculine. I know with us, one
Hmm.
thing that she noticed, I don't think I had many pictures up, but just how I presented myself, wasn't overdoing it. She said I looked like a coach. But you can see these traits in the person just by their pictures, just by a few words that they
Hmm.
say. And this is another thing as well. Most masculine energy men that are healthy are men of few words. So they won't have they won't have a long story in there talking
Mhm,
about everything they've done, talking about their feelings,
mhm,
talking about all of this. They'll be short to the point, real
mhm,
simple pictures. They might have
mhm,
pictures where they're working, where they're cleaning.
mhm.
These type of pictures, these are the boring men that you want as a healthy feminine, because
Yeah.
they're going to be into you and not into themselves.
So good. And we're going to tell you exactly how to pick men in a second, but we're just right now breaking down what to stop doing,
Hmm.
okay? The other thing you're going to stop doing is you're going to stop choosing men and being with men based on chemistry and
Mm,
butterflies in the tummy. So, butterflies in the tummy, chemistry is actually your nervous system, your body just releasing hormones like and neurotransmitters like
mm,
oxytocin and dopamine and some adrenaline. That's what's flooding through the body. And if you haven't done any inner healing at all, and you grew up with chaos in the household, you didn't have that perfect picture of the masculine father, the feminine mom, like most of us in our community. And there was just a lot of chaos. Dad was there and then he wasn't there. Or just guys that you've dated, you're used to, you go after the bad boys, you go
hmm.
after the F boys, those guys, you're used to that. That's what's been programmed into your nervous
Yes.
system, ladies, at a subconscious level. And what happens is now when you meet a guy and you're like, oh, but he makes me feel so good.
Mm.
I'm getting this dopamine hit. You're not saying that to yourself. Obviously, you're just like, I got butterflies in my tummy. The chemistry is amazing. The
Right.
seg is amazing. He's just so amazing. He makes me feel so good.
Mm.
And then he's breadcrumbing
Yes.
you. He's ghosting you. You're stuck in a situationship with him. There's no title, right? But it just feels so good to be in his
Mm.
presence. You guys think you're in love with each other, but really you're just trauma bonded. And
Mm.
what's happening is your nervous system, your subconscious mind is just playing out old attachment styles, attachment
Yes.
patterns from childhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another reason you don't want to be moved off of chemistry
Hmm.
or how you feel is that stuff can be manufactured. Men
Yes.
can figure out what you need
Hmm.
and become that in the moment. So you don't want to be moved by, because you told him in the past this is what happened. Now he becomes that perfect guy that makes you feel good.
Hmm.
And now it's no foundation to it. It's just all about how you feel, even though that's not naturally who he is at
Hmm.
times, especially guys that are in that pattern of
Hmm.
just taking advantage, doing things for themselves. So chemistry, feeling good, something that can be manufactured. you really don't want to be moved off of that at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And so, how trauma bonds play out is there's this intermittent reinforcement, that unpredictability that's actually chemically so addicting to us as humans. And this is also why people gamble. And this is also why people scroll on social media. So, if you find yourself numbing and scrolling, the reason, I mean, it's designed to be addictive, right? Like this is so subconscious because as you're scrolling, you're getting little bits of dopamine hits. So trauma bonding is kind of similar, where you have two people that are probably unhealed, likely unhealed. You might actually love each other, right? You might actually want to be together. You're attracted to each other physically and chemistry and all those hormones. All that trauma has bonded you together at a nervous system level. And what happens is you guys get together and it's fireworks, and then he goes away most likely, or maybe she pulls away if she has some avoidant patterns. She's unhealed as well. It can go either way. And what happens is one person goes away, and that triggers that anxiousness in the other person, and then that person wants to chase them. And then they get together, and then they have the dopamine hits, the oxytocin hits again, and you actually just become really, really addicted to the chemical cocktails that are being released. It's equivalent of a drug addiction. Literally, it's equivalent of a drug addiction.
And you see it too, where you could have grown up in the same neighborhood, had a similar experience. This happened to me. This happened to me. We were watching a movie last night, speaking of trauma bonding, where they went through a situation where it was, I forgot exactly how it came about, but it was a situation where they were working together and then they shared a similar experience. Now they're just all connected. They're hugging. They're just getting closer and closer. It wasn't about them being connected or attracted to those masculine and feminine traits. It was about that trauma that brought them closer together in that moment. And you have to be careful with that because it turns from a moment to a situationship if you continue to move based off of that chemistry and that bonding because you have those similarities, or because you grew up in the same neighborhood, or because both of you, may have lost a dog at the same age. You lost your dog at 8, and I lost my dog at 8 too. Oh, okay. Well, let's hug. Let's go out. Let's go out to eat. Let's talk about this. You don't want to get caught up in that and all that we connected. Oh, it's so much chemistry. No, you had a dog and he had a dog, and both of you lost your dog. That's all that happened.
Exactly. And this is why so many adults end up in situationships. Okay. Especially if you have gone through a loss, right? Maybe it's a divorce. We have so many women that we coached that have gone through a divorce, or you went through a loss, you lost a spouse, you maybe have never been married, and you just never have seen or experienced a healthy relationship, a healthy, secure relationship. And so situationships can feel very safe and secure at a nervous system level because, well, you're hormonally addicted to each other, right? You're not in love, you're actually just hormonally addicted to each other. And it's safe enough because there's no title, right? So there's no fear of rejection because, or that, that feeling of failure or loss of another marriage because you guys were never really together, right? That's how you avoid, actually falling in love with a safe, secure marriage, with a healthy masculine man, because you are protecting yourself at a subconscious nervous system level. You're attracting men that don't want to fully commit to you, don't want to fully choose you because you haven't fully chosen you. You haven't fully decided that you want to get married again because your nervous system is so dysregulated and traumatized from the losses that you have been through. That's how this works. Isn't that interesting, ladies? Okay, so let's jump into this is what you're going to start doing. Okay, now, ladies, and anyone that's watching right now, on our YouTube channel, we are helping you understand this, helping you become more aware, more curious, not from a place of self-judgment and shaming yourself and hiding and isolating, or even getting smarter and intellectualizing everything. What we want to do is take you to a place where you are actually embodying these shifts, embodying these changes at a nervous system level. Because by definition, you cannot relax into your feminine as a woman. You will always be in survival masculine energy mode until you heal your nervous system. Your energy cannot soften. You want a soft life, ladies? If you want a soft life, you need to soften your energy. Okay. You want a provider man that wants to provide for you, he's going to want a feminine woman. But if your nervous system is dysregulated,
Mm.
you are hyper triggered, you're anxious, you're in chasing mode, you're obsessively thinking about the guy, you're, analyzing, overthinking text messages, right, ladies? Getting yourself into situationships, all these things, right? A healthy provider man is not going to be attracted to that. So that's why, on the YouTube channel, we help you with awareness, but it's the embodiment that you actually need. You need to make the changes at a nervous system level, which is where the coaching comes into play. That's where we can work with you, give you feedback, and give you the programs and the tools
Mm.
to heal and re-regulate your nervous system, your hormones, and your energy. So what will naturally happen is you will attract so many provider men that want to date and marry you.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we have so many good questions that are even coming in now
love it.
that we can get to. I know Brittany Clark said, I need to join the FEA, the Feminine Energy Academy. Definitely. Link is below. I know I've seen on here a
Yes,
few times. So definitely, if you want to go deeper
yes,
into it, not only the awareness,
yeah,
but get the tools
yes,
needed
yes.
to
Let's do
make
it.
the changes, jump in
Okay.
and let's get you going.
Okay. So for today's episode, though, I want to give you girls 3 things that you could start implementing today. Okay.
Mm.
So when you are choosing men, dating, and you're in relationships and you're deciding, okay, who do I want to marry? And also, this is assuming that you already have that clarity, right? You already have the clarity of who you're calling in as a husband and a father to your children, right? You're not just choosing a man that you want to date for marriage, but you also have to think, okay, he's going to be the father to my
Mm.
kids or to my future kids, right? And so does he meet your requirement for that? But the 3 things that I want you girls to start thinking about and really prioritizing is number 1 is just values, just beliefs and your value system. That has to be in alignment because we all make decisions based on our belief system and our values. Okay, so you have to have really big clarity here. Non-negotiables. What are my non-negotiables when it comes to values and belief? Just think about how you live your life. Think about how you raise your kids. I'll give you an example for me. My faith is so important for me and my kids, right? So we wanted a man of God. We
Mm.
wanted a Christian man. We followed the same beliefs. He doesn't have to, be going to church every Sunday, but at his core, he's a man of God.
Mm.
He has a genuine relationship with God. It's not this like cultural, oh, I'm Christian, because a lot of people are culturally Jewish or they're culturally Muslim or they're culturally Christian. But you have to know for you, does that match, right? Because all the decisions you're going to be making around finances, around how to raise kids, around do's and don'ts in life, it's going to come down to your values, right? And so you need to be in alignment with that. Number 2 thing, this is so important, especially for the woman, ladies. Okay. So you don't want to struggle life, right? Where you're in your masculine, is you need to pick a man based on the lifestyle you want to live. You want to choose a man and date men based on the lifestyle you want to live. Now, let me break this down because this is so important. If you don't pick a man based on the lifestyle that you want to live, that you desire to live, you by default are going to end up in a lifestyle that maybe you don't want to be in. So, quick examples. 1, is he a provider? Does he believe in you having the option of staying home? Or not, because some men don't believe that. Some men are like, no, I'm working, you need to be out of the house working. We're coaching women through this situation right now. They're exhausted, their hormones are burnt out, they want to be home with their kids, but they have to be out working. And I'm not, I don't want to throw shade at anyone's situation. We're all on a different journey. But you have to understand the lifestyle that you want to live. Do you want to build a business and you want him to help support it? Okay, that's great. Do you want an entrepreneur? This was a big thing for me. Do you want an entrepreneur or do you want a man that's in a stable 9 to 5? Because some women don't want to date entrepreneurs because it's too unpredictable. You want a 9 to 5er. Some women are okay with, okay, I want a provider man. And they're okay if he's traveling, he works away, he's paying all the bills, he's providing, he loves you, but he's not home.
Mm.
Are you okay with that? Or do you want a provider type man that's home in the evenings, but maybe not making as much money? Right? So these are the types of questions you have to ask yourself ahead of time, ladies. Go ahead, baby. I know you want to
No.
say something.
No, and as we're going over these things, it's so important. This is the foundation of you putting your love list together, exactly what you desire, and
Mm,
understanding what you desire matters. And this is the only way that's going to allow
mhm,
you to be in a position to be in a happy and healthy relationship
mhm.
if you're moving forward with someone that you desire on many levels.
Yeah.
And also understanding that you talk about this a lot, and we'll go into it later, maybe in the question segment, but really understanding that becoming the reciprocal match is such a key, because a lot of times what we do is we say, okay, I want to be rich, I want to
Mhm.
be this, I want to
Yeah.
live here, but what steps have we taken?
Yeah.
What sacrifices have we made? Because if you find yourself continuing to attract people that aren't on
Mhm.
your love list can be on point. It can be 1 to 10, everything can be written out.
Yeah.
But if you haven't done the work on your end to become what he desires,
100%.
then now you're looking like, I'm doing everything, what's going on? I wrote down what I want, but then you look up, he's looking for someone who's active, who's doing this or that, and you're staying at home all the time. And
Mhm.
you're doing the opposite of that. You won't be able to attract that type of guy. So, first, definitely putting together that love list, understanding exactly what you desire for you and your kids,
Mhm. Mhm.
but also making sure, like you did, because even during your process
Mhm.
of going through losing your ex-husband, it
Mhm.
was some changes that you had to make,
Yeah.
that you can maybe talk about to position
Yeah.
yourself to get the type of man that you desire.
Yes, this is so good. Thank you for saying that, babe. Because that is the biggest thing is you need to become compatible with that guy. You need to be the match for that type of guy.
Mhm.
If you want a high value provider type man, he's going to have options, right? And you're not doing this from a place of self-abandonment, of
Mhm.
lack of worthiness. No, you're doing this from a place of I genuinely want to be the best version of
Yeah.
myself. Like I want to feel confident.
Yes.
I want to look good. I want to feel good. And it's looking good for your age. It's not about looking good
Yes.
for like a 20-year-old, right? Because we have ladies that have gotten remarried in their 50s, by the way. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's about looking good for your age.
Mhm.
That's so, so important. And then a big thing of this is these types of men want women that are in their soft,
Yes.
feminine receiving energy. If your nervous system is dysregulated and you're triggered and you're anxious and you're overthinking and you're overanalyzing and all those things, he's not going to be attracted to you.
Yes.
Okay. Let me give you point number three quick,
Yes.
and then we'll break this down a little bit
Yes.
more. So, the first thing that we talked about is well, we talked about the lifestyle, right? You want to
Yes.
have lifestyle compatibility and then also is you guys have the same values and belief system, right? So important when it comes to your non-negotiables. And you can have non-negotiables and then you can have nice to haves,
Yes.
right? Don't be like super obsessive where it's like everything is a non-negotiable because you're going to probably be single the rest of your life.
Yes.
We have some things that are non-negotiable, and then we have some things where like it's nice to have. You
Yes.
know, it'd be nice if he's over 6 feet,
Yeah.
but to be honest with you, that was not even on my list.
Mm.
It was not even on my list because that falls into the physical attraction
Mm.
category. And I chose my husband. I called him my husband, father of my kids, based on the things I'm telling you right
Yes.
now. So the values and beliefs, the lifestyle that I wanted to live for me and my kids, which is what I have now. And then the third thing is you have a genuine connection.
Mm.
You have a genuine connection. You have to genuinely like each other.
Yeah.
You have to genuinely enjoy being in each
Yeah.
other's presence. Your personalities need to jive, okay? And once again, how attraction and chemistry works, ladies, and how we fall in love as women is as you spend time. Well, first of all, your nervous system needs to be healed. Otherwise, you're going to keep going after the bad boys in situationships and the guys that breadcrumb you. But assuming your nervous system is healed, you've done the inner work that I teach. What will happen is if you choose a man based on these things that we just talked about and you spend time together, you will start to become attracted to
Yeah.
him. You will start to find him very attractive. We talk about this before. We've talked about this before, where maybe you don't like how he dresses. I didn't like how my husband dressed before at all, but I didn't even say anything because it's not
Mhm.
important. He dressed like a typical provider man who just doesn't care about how he looks, which is great.
I got a
You,
bunch of other guys that dress like this for you ladies, but go
yes,
ahead.
we love these guys are great for you, okay? You can upgrade his looks, okay? That's easy. You can't upgrade his value system and
Mm.
his integrity, right? And his character. You can't upgrade those things and you don't want to as a woman. That's not your job. But changing his outfit, easy.
And
Easy.
and
Yeah.
that's what I love about it when you're doing things in a way, uh, per, like positioning yourself to be
Mhm.
found by the right type of man. What happens in those cases is you'll get that man that might not be. You don't want a man that's 100% everything in the sense of his
Mhm.
looks and everything like that, because he's
Mhm.
probably spending a lot of time on himself.
Mhm.
But for me, in our situation where it's all t-shirts, it's all button-up shirts, it's all
Mhm.
polo shirts, I'm focused on other things. So when she comes in the picture and we get together, now it's like, okay, this area I might not have done well as far as the way she liked things, but I'm open.
Yeah.
It's not me saying, okay, I'm going to dress the way that I feel feels good to me. And I'm saying that because what happens is when you get into a relationship with a man and you're positioning yourself to be found by that man, it's okay to look good for him. It's
Mhm.
okay to do things for him, even though it helps you with your
Mhm.
health, it helps you feel better.
Mhm.
It's okay because we're doing things, even though it doesn't matter to me, I'm doing it because it makes her feel good.
Mhm.
I'm providing for her because it makes her feel good. I'm
Mhm.
being that protection because it makes her feel good. Now, it's something I naturally do, but the things that I'm doing, I wouldn't necessarily do some things for myself. I
Mhm.
wouldn't I wouldn't care where I lived. That would
Mhm.
be like I would live anywhere. Who cares? But when you have a family, you have to make those adjustments for them.
Mhm.
So it's being open to making adjustments after you get together. And these are the non-negotiables.
Mhm.
Not, I
Mhm.
mean, these are the negotiables, not the non-negotiables. You
Mhm.
can make adjustments on the negotiables, but
Yeah.
make sure those non-negotiables are solid and they're of substance as well, just not things that make you feel good.
That's so good, babe. All right, we see a lot of questions coming in, so we're going to get those answered. So, ladies, this is so important. And here's the other thing I want you to catch is you might understand this once again at a head knowledge, right? You've read your books. You, a lot of you are already, you've already been doing your inner healing. But I cannot stress this enough. Until you've embodied these changes, until you've healed your nervous system and really learned nervous system re-regulating, and not when you're just at home doing self-care. I'm talking about while you're dating. Until you make those
Mm.
shifts, you're not going to get a different result because we all play in patterns. We all of us do. This is just how, this is the human experience where we were raised a certain way. We have patterns that we're playing in a subconscious level, and it affects our relationships, it affects our finances, it affects our body and our hormones as a woman. And until you actually embody the changes, and it's uncomfortable, it's ugly, okay? It's really ugly, but what happens from it is you have this new identity, this new reality, and you start to become so magnetic to healthy men. And then you have options as a woman. And I want to give you a quick example, then we'll start answering questions, okay? And I'm going to use this example because it's super fresh. I just went to the Medi Spa last week and
Mm.
I had microneedling done. And so I don't know if you girls can see it on the camera. Please don't zoom in.
They
But I
can
mean,
now,
I mean, if you want to
huh?
zoom in, you can. It's fine. But anyway, my skin is literally peeling. Like I look like a peeling snake right now,
Mm.
and I do have some makeup on over top, but it's still noticeable. Like literally before we went live, my husband looked at me and he was like, and thankfully I've done my inner healing and I wasn't triggered, but he gave me
Uh,
the side eye, like, what's wrong with your
yeah,
face?
it was close up. I hadn't turned and looked, but definitely just helping her out.
He was a bit shocked, he was a bit thrown off, but that's part of the healing process. This is the perfect analogy for inner healing. So for any of my ladies that are into many spas and you get the microneedling and all that, I get that. So what happens is it physically punctures your
Mm.
skin. It's like a physical wound. It's literally triggering your skin. And what that does is it forces your old skin to peel off,
Mm.
and all the new skin, all the new collagen comes out, and your skin is like a baby skin. It's so
Mm.
smooth and soft, and all the pores go away. I love it. And she rubs my skin with the exosomes. Learned that from the Koreans, by the way.
Mm.
These growth factors, and it's just stimulating this new skin. And I get this done 4 times a year. It's part of my skin routine.
Mm.
And but the thing is, it's like I have to be willing to go about a week of my skin peeling off
Mm.
and babying my skin, protecting my skin. It's in that healing phase, and it's not pretty. It's ugly. Like everyone in my family is just like staring at me because my skin is changing color and peeling off. And but the result of that is it makes it so worth it because my skin is new, it's fresh, and of course it makes me feel so good.
Yes, yes. And ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy definitely understand my response, but definitely that, and it's so key
Hmm.
with, I know you talk about it a lot about the triggering process, and even us, even me
Yeah.
today, like when you start making decisions and
Mhm.
doing things differently,
Mm.
right, you can trigger things in yourself or in other
Yep,
people.
yep.
And the key is not being triggered by triggers.
Yes.
So if you're getting triggered in your face now, you can't get triggered and get upset, because this is part of what you asked for. Right? You asked for your skin, the new layer to come. So now it
Yeah.
can't trigger you
Yeah.
because your skin is peeling.
Yeah.
That's the only way the new skin will come. So I love those analogies. But let's get
Oh,
into the
that's so good.
questions with Alicia Love, who's in our Feminine Energy Academy. She says, "How do you know if it's healthy love or not trauma bonding?"
Oh, great question, Alicia. And I have to shout out Alicia because she has been doing the inner work.
Mm,
She has been with us for a few months. And when we're talking inner work, she's dating, she's attracting men, but she's so coachable. She's always like, okay, here's the situation. How do I respond differently? I'm feeling this. What does this mean? And this is a perfect, perfect example of someone that's doing the inner work.
mm,
They're not just reading another book or
yes.
watching another pod or listening to another podcast and just getting smarter, but you're not actually, but really you're avoidant
Mm,
and not, jumping in and actually dating and getting into, maybe not getting into relationships, but dating and meeting people so you can work through some of these triggers. So I just wanted to point that out there.
yes.
But how do you know? The question was, how do you know that this is healthy love versus trauma bonding?
Yes.
Okay. So trauma bonding is when you both have not done your inner work, you haven't done any inner healing, and it's inconsistent. One of
Mm,
the biggest signs of a trauma bond versus secure love is the
mm,
inconsistency. So that means it's like hot and cold. There's unpredictability there. So if you're taking notes, write down these words: it's unpredictable, it's
mm,
inconsistent, and my nervous system doesn't feel safe as a woman, even as a man too. It doesn't feel safe in the sense of you don't know when he's going to text.
mm,
You don't know if he's going to call you. You don't know if he's going to set up another date. You have no plans for the future.
yes.
There's no direction, but there's a lot of chemistry. You guys are super attracted to each
Yes.
other. He might come into the picture and make you feel so good in the moment, but then once again, you're in that pattern of unpredictability. That's
Mm,
how you know that you're in a trauma bond.
yes.
Versus secure love is consistent,
Mm,
because masculine energy is consistent, right? Just think, and I've talked about this before, a woman's hormones fluctuates
mm,
up and down all month long. That's normal, right? For a woman, testosterone is stable, consistent. So that is a staple mark of masculine energy is consistency. So if he's not showing up consistently with you,
mhm,
then that is a sign that is really an unhealthy situation. And what will happen if you guys are both hot and cold with each other, because you guys both might be unhealthy,
yeah.
right? And I'm not saying you, Alicia, I'm just saying in general, you guys both might be a little bit anxious, a little bit avoidant. You're kind of playing in those patterns together. It's called disorganized attachment style, where you flow back and forth. And what happens is one person is a little bit more avoidant. Okay. So he's starting to pull away in an unhealthy way, unpredictable way that triggers your anxiousness as a woman. And then now you're overthinking, you're obsessing, you're doing more for him. You're trying to show him how amazing you are,
Mm,
right? You're trying harder, and he's pulling away even more because now you are in your masculine chasing energy, wounded masculine energy chasing, and he is leaning away. And then what happens is, and then you detach because you finally moved on with your life, and then he comes running back, and because you haven't done your inner healing yet, now you're back in the same cycle
yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yes. So no, that was a great question, and definitely the answer. I know I was looking at a couple of the ladies in there. They were saying how on point the answer
Yeah.
was. So
Yeah. and and
definitely appreciate it.
and what the goal is for you ladies that are hearing, like, oh my god, that's me. Okay, so first of all, you're not going to judge yourself at all. Okay, this is just your nervous system dysregulated. It doesn't know any better. We're not going to blame ourselves, but the first step is becoming aware of it. And then we want to move you to a place where you're feeling more regulated in your nervous
Yeah.
system, because what happens is when you're regulated in your nervous system, meaning that you're feeling safe and secure within yourself, not from a place of avoidant, like the wall is up. That's not
Mm,
what I'm talking about, but a place where your heart is still open. You're still feeling safe to be seen and heard and date and fall in love. You're doing that. But you can also have a healthy detachment
yes.
where if he ghosts you, he doesn't get back to you in time, he doesn't match your non-negotiables that we just talked about, you're not distraught. You're not like your value has tumbled and destroyed, your worthiness is destroyed because this guy rejected you. You're not in that place. So what we really want to work on is getting you really safe and secure in your nervous system and
Yes.
in your feminine energy, and you will attract consistent men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to go off track a little this time. We have a question from a guy.
Ooh, I love
Lao
it.
Slot says, "How do I tell a girl I want to call it quits without causing drama?" So
Ooh, that's a
that's so
great
good.
question.
And the thing is, even like Lao said, most healthy men really just want peace. They don't want a whole bunch of drama. They don't want a whole bunch of back and forth. But in that situation, I don't know if it was a situationship, exactly what it was. But the best way to go about telling her you want to call it quits is really just being honest with her in
Mhm.
the situation, being direct, honest. Now, what you can't control is someone's response. So
Yeah.
if it's a lot of drama behind it, no matter how you say it,
Mhm.
then she's going to respond in her default. So
Yeah.
if her default is drama, she's going to respond that way. But it's you really being honest and having clarity on it. You don't want to leave the door open. You don't want to say, well, I just want to take time off for now. No,
Mhm.
you want to let her know that this situation isn't working. I'm moving on from it. You're a great girl. Whatever the case is, you might want to, pat her on the back a couple of times as well. But be honest with her, be direct, have clarity with it. And however she responds, she responds. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, do it in a place where maybe a public place out in a patio area at a restaurant. Do it somewhere where others are around if you just don't feel comfortable. But make sure you're clear with it, with her in the situation. Don't leave her hanging. Don't leave her confused, leaving the
Mm.
conversation where she thinks it might be an opportunity. Don't double back and just turn into a situationship,
Mhm.
because now you're really causing the drama. You don't want to be the cause of the drama. Just be
Mhm.
clear
Mhm.
and just be clear with her and just be honest with her.
So good. Honey, would you be able to touch a little bit about how you went through that?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think this would be really helpful for the people that are new here, and maybe
yeah.
just share a little bit about your
Oh,
story.
definitely. I was formally engaged
Mhm.
actually. We were together, I believe, 4 years, and the fifth year we were engaged, and then we decided to kind of call off the engagement, but we stayed together for another year. And during that time, we had accountability partners as far as married couples. We did counseling during that time, and then after a year's time, we had a meeting with some of our accountability people that were along the way with us, kind of helping us out. And at that time, for me, I didn't make the changes that needed to be made. It wasn't a lot of changes. It was a lot of conversation, but it wasn't a lot of changes that were being made. And for me, I didn't want to drag it out. So I made the decision. We had a conversation in a
Mhm.
patio. That's
Mm.
why I said the
Yeah,
patio.
that sounds like use your example.
We had the conversation with our accountability part married couple that was there, and at that point it was challenging, but I knew a decision had to be made, and I didn't want to leave her hanging. I didn't want to have her wasting time. I didn't want to waste my time, and I made the decision to end the relationship. And it was a challenging decision,
Mhm.
but I knew it was best for both of us, and I just didn't want to drag something out longer and longer. Let's keep working. Let's keep working. It could have been 5, 10 years later, and we would have been in the same situation. But I decided to make the decision. I decided whatever pain it was, whatever hurt came with it, I would deal with it. But I wanted both of us to be able to move on from it in a healthy way and not just, have more drama, have more trauma
Yeah.
by staying together because we're emotionally bonded.
Yeah, exactly. And what I respect about that decision that you had made, and this is way before, actually, this happened, what he went through
Yes.
was the same time that I lost my husband to cancer.
Mm.
So this, you never know what's going on behind the
Yes.
scenes, ladies, okay? And gents that are watching right now. So we're both going through horribly
Yes.
traumatic situations. This is 2019,
Yes.
2020, right? But one thing that I respected about your situation is you said that, she wanted to have kids
Yeah.
and, so you didn't want to waste that time,
Yeah.
and this is why women, it's so, so important that we do have to be on a timeline if you want to have kids. Okay, if you want to have kids, it's important that you don't stay in
Yes.
situations, relationships, and engagements. Like they had their entire wedding
Yes.
planned out,
Yes.
like invitations sent
Yes.
out. Like that's a big deal,
Yes.
right? Like I understand that's a big deal,
Yes.
and like the
Families
shame,
connecting. And
families,
yes.
you know, doing Thanksgiving together, all
Yes.
that stuff. And you know, I can say this confidently because I'm secure. You know, as a woman, I've done my inner work, inner healing, and I can have compassion for her and for
Mhm.
the situation, you know, that they went through. And I know that there was probably a lot of shame that
Yes.
came with that too. But what I respect about that, but what you guys did is you did cut it clean so she
Mhm.
could go on
Yes.
and get married. And I don't know what she's up to now,
Yes.
but have kids
Yes.
and all that stuff.
And
So yeah.
even allowed that whole shame part,
Yeah.
because now we've sent out invitations.
Hmm.
Now I have to call family. I have to call friends. Some people I didn't get back to because you just don't remember everybody. And people are looking like you're not together anymore.
Yeah.
So that whole process is
Yeah.
something you have to deal with if you've been with someone a long time. You've put them into your life, you put them into your family's life. But the best decision to make is to make the decision that's on your heart,
Hmm.
because a lot of times what can happen is you love that person, you have love for them because you've been with them,
Yeah,
so it's
you're connected to them.
yeah, it's
Yeah, for
that
sure.
connection and you don't want to see them hurt. But the worst decision is to drag it out
Hmm.
because they'll hurt worse in the
Hmm.
long run. At least being honest with them, they know you're not intentionally trying to hurt them,
Hmm.
but dragging it out is something that'll hurt them, that'll take time away from them. It may get them out of those years that they wanted to have children or whatever the case is,
Hmm.
and now you're feeling even worse because of the decision that you didn't make.
Yeah, exactly. So good. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing that,
Thanks
honey.
so much. And it's so many good questions. Let,
Yeah,
let me get
so
back to a
so
couple more.
relatable, so
Yes.
relatable for so many
And
women.
this is normal stuff that
Yeah,
happens that a lot of times we don't talk about. We just want
yeah,
to move on,
yeah,
say, okay, I'm not in a relationship. What's
hmm,
next? No, it's really dealing with that so you can move on to a healthy relationship. So
yeah, yeah.
the next question that we have, um, this is from Vanessa. She said, "What are your thoughts on who should initiate texting more,
Mm,
the guy or the woman? If a guy doesn't initiate contact through texting, doesn't mean he is not in his masculine energy."
I love this question, but baby, go for it.
So who should, and those of you that have watched our channel
Oh, they're in the
that
FEA.
are in the FE Feminine Energy Academy,
Hmm.
we say 80 to 90% of the time the guy should initiate the texting. He's the one who's bringing his energy towards you. And it's not because you want him to text because, it just feels good. No, you want to make sure that he's bringing his energy. The guy should
Hmm.
always be the one who's coming after you, chasing after you. And we talk about it by what's the word
Biologically.
biologically. We talk about it so much, and
Hmm.
Natasha does. But what it is, if he's waiting back for you to text him, if you meet online
Hmm.
and he says hi, that's all he says, and he's waiting on you to text him back, a lot of times he's in his feminine. He wants you to come towards him.
Hmm.
He's just throwing the net out there and seeing who's coming to him, but he's not actively coming at you. It's almost like whoever responds to him first, then he's going to respond back. But he's not initiating the conversation. He's not initiating getting to know you. He just wants to let you know that I see you. He's basically throwing the handkerchief.
Hmm.
As a he's throwing the handkerchief for
Yeah,
you to pick it up and
yeah.
give it to him, right? He's giving you the eyes and he wants you to come over to him. That's basically what you texting
He's a
first.
pretty boy.
Yes. That's basically what you texting him, initiating text messages is about. Now, if you're having a conversation, you're texting back and forth, and it shouldn't be like entire conversations. Like
Hmm.
texting should be just to see when you're available to talk for the most part.
Hmm.
But if he's texting you and you forget to text him back, it's okay to text him back later, but you shouldn't be the one saying, "Good morning. Good morning, handsome.
Hmm.
How are you? I was just thinking about you." No, you're not thinking about him. He should know you're thinking about him. He's coming after you. He should be setting up times to talk, setting up times to get to know you. This texting stuff shouldn't be ongoing, long
Hmm.
conversations. It should be just to connect, to see when you're available to get together. So,
Or call you, FaceTime you.
exactly, get together, talk. So, no, it's not okay for you to start texting him first. He should be the one coming towards you.
100%. So let me talk about the energy behind this because, I love talking about going deep in this. So if you find that you're anxious and almost triggered and you're overthinking,
Mhm.
over analyzing, is he going to text? Why hasn't he texted? Why hasn't he set up the dates? All that. That's your nervous system being triggered. That's
Mm.
your nervous system actually being dysregulated, where you're not feeling safe and secure as a woman. Because when you're safe and secure within yourself, not avoidant, there's a difference there. The wall isn't up. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're so safe, and you're feeling safe and secure and regulated in your nervous system, you don't even notice these things. So if he texts you, great. If he doesn't, you're so busy enjoying your life. You're talking to other guys, you're
Mhm.
rotationally dating that you don't even notice. And but the thing is, if you find that you are getting anxious about these things and you are overthinking, over analyzing, what will happen is you're in that, because you're in that anxious style
Yes.
pattern, you're going to keep attracting avoidant type men. So I know a lot of you girls have been asking me, hey, talk more about avoidant men, how to deal with avoidant men. This is how you deal with avoidant men. You heal, you heal, ladies,
Yes.
because they're mirroring your
Yes.
energy. So as you heal and you start seeing you, because that anxious style, the anxious attachment style, is you've put people on a pedestal.
Mm.
You've put men on a pedestal, you put dating, marriages on the pedestal, you put people outside of you on the pedestal, on an energetic pedestal. This is what God actually calls adultery, right? Because it's
Mm.
outside of you. And so, because you've elevated their value and you've undervalued
Yes.
yourself, now you're in your chasing mode. And you don't know this because it's all subconscious. And that's what you've learned from a child to feel safe in your
Mm.
nervous system. You learned as a child that I have to abandon myself
Yes.
to make mom and dad happy around me,
Mm.
or to make the people around me happy. And you're still playing in these patterns of overdoing, over giving. You're the nice girl, you take care of everybody, and you keep abandoning yourself and overdoing, try to
Mm.
really to seek love and validation.
Mm.
And unless they hit you back and text you back and organize, try to organize a date or something, you're feeling really bad about yourself.
Mm.
So the root there is not dating different guys. The root there is healing yourself first, and then you'll start to attract different types of
Mm.
guys.
So good. So good. Sherelle Rushing says she's new here.
Oh,
Welcome
welcome,
in,
beautiful.
Sherelle. We had another good question. This is,
We love your girls'
yes.
questions.
This is from Alicia Taylor. She said, it feels like we are in love, have a
Mm,
lot of lust,
yeah,
attraction similarities, but he's very inconsistent.
yeah,
We fight a lot. I agree he didn't do inner healing, and I may need a little more.
yeah.
Feels like my person?
Yep.
Question.
Yep, yep. Okay, so here's the thing, ladies, and we're not saying that he isn't your person, because maybe he is your person.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do with you is we want to help you just feel so secure and healed
Mm-hmm.
that you know what you want as a
Yeah.
husband and a father for your children. And you're not willing to compromise that. So you don't get yourself into a situationship with a
Yes.
man that you guys might genuinely really love each other. He might be a great
Yes.
guy, a really great guy, right? And you guys want to make it work. But unless both people have done
Mm.
the inner work, your relationships, these situationship, these dating patterns are going to keep mirroring trauma that you've gone through as a child
Yeah.
and from your past. So if you're used to the hot and cold, the inconsistency, that's all you've known, you're going to keep attracting these types of guys.
Mm.
So then your next question is, well, how do I change this so, he can be more consistent? Well, you can never make a man do anything. But what you can do, babe, is you can lean back. I encourage you to detach. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
struggling with detaching, then get that inner healing, get clarity on what you want. What does it feel like? Not just from a head knowledge. I know you girls already know at a head knowledge what type of guy you
Yeah.
want, right? You've intellectualized it. But I'm talking at a nervous system level, at a subconscious level. We have to rewire that so you know what it feels like to be in a
Yes.
relationship that is safe and secure, and the man's energy is coming towards
Mm.
you consistently. And until you retrain your nervous system that that's normal for you, like that's your new normal, of course, he's consistent and predictable every day. Until you do that, you will keep subconsciously self sabotaging because the nervous system isn't familiar with healthy love, secure love. It's kind of the analogy I always tell my girls when I'm coaching them is it's kind of like an autoimmune response.
Mm.
So when your own body starts attacking things that are foreign or what they think is foreign, right? Then your body will start responding. That's what your nervous system will do. So if healthy, secure, masculine energy, man, and relationship is foreign for you because you were like me, who came from 4 generations of single parenthood, came from a divorced household, dad was gone at 14, and that's all you've known, and that's all that's got programmed to the nervous system, you will resist healthy love. And it'll look like this. The good, consistent guys are unattractive for you. You don't find them attractive. You don't have chemistry with them. You're not into them. You're into the guys that are inconsistent. So that's how you know you're playing in those patterns. And the only way to stop playing in those patterns is by doing your inner healing. And one of 2 things will happen. I promise you this, okay? It's a win-win for you when you do your inner work and inner healing. Is he will also be doing his inner work, inner healing simultaneously. You don't have to force him. That's what happened with us when we split apart for a bit. You surrender him to God, let God deal with him, and he might come back and you guys will be in a healthy situation together, relationship, marriage together, or he will fall away and you will be so safe and secure in your nervous system, in your energy. You will be thinking different, acting different, feeling different, and attracting different. So you will attract your actual husband that is meant for you, that will provide, protect you, spoil you, and you will live a very good life together.
Yeah. And it kind of goes into answering the question the spiritual hybrid had. It said, what about when guys aren't consistent and come back and want to take you on a date? And again, that's what we went through to an extent. I was pretty consistent with reaching out to her and calling her. I was consistent with, FaceTiming and things like that. But I wasn't consistent in the area of following through with coming to see her. We were in different countries, and I didn't make that effort to come see her. And what happened is, again, she decided to step away from our talking because it wasn't a relationship, but from us talking, then both of us were able to do inner work. So when I came back, it wasn't to take her on a date. So when they come back, it's not to take you on a date only. It's got to be a bigger picture, because anything other than really having clarity, now it's going to be a waste of time potentially. He's already shown that he's interested in you, but he's been inconsistent. So now coming back, he has to have a plan in place. Like I did, I knew I wanted to marry her. I knew I wanted to move forward, be exclusive. Now the action time was action time instead of talking time, instead of just casually hanging out time. So when guys leave and come back, first off, you don't have to take them back. But if you decide to give them an opportunity, you see they've done the work. Now they're coming back to you with concrete steps, with what they desire to do moving forward. Not, let's get to know each other. I really want to get to know you a little deeper. No, you can get to know, your best friend or something like that. But what is the purpose of us getting back together? And if he's not clear with that, then be careful, because it potentially can be a waste of time, just like it was before.
Babe, I love what you're saying. Can you explain to the ladies how the same person, like you, for example, and a lot of men will show up differently to different women?
Oh, definitely.
Like other women that you were talking to around the same time met me.
And the thing
We're
is,
just trying to keep it really real for you ladies.
Men, I love what you say, because I never thought about it, but men are moved off the energy of the woman. So once you show the guy who you are and not tell him, because guys don't care what you say. They'll just nod, smile. Okay, I see. She's telling me all this. That probably means that she's not like that. She wants me to believe that. But they'll move off your energy. So in your case, your energy, what you were saying online, and your energy was you didn't want to waste time, that you were looking to get married. You were only dating for marriage. So in that situation, I knew I had to adjust. And the thing is, we still try to be, still try to test.
The bachelor tendencies.
Yes, we still try to test. Okay, she said it. Let me check this out. And you still try to test. But when you stand on those boundaries, and when you're not attached to that person, then the guy has to make the decision, like, okay, this right here, this is wife material. This right here, she's still, in her hot girl summer, she's still in the streets, and based on that, the guy adjusts. Most guys, that I know, and I
Mhm.
know a lot of
Mhm.
healthy masculine energy guys. Most guys are looking for that wife, are looking for that one person that
Mhm.
they could be with. But in the intern, they'll deal with whatever comes their way,
Mhm.
because guys won't make you something you're not.
Mhm.
And that's in every case. So if you're not already coming in as a wife, a
Mhm.
guy won't make you that. So if you're showing yourself as being someone who's a 9 o'clock call, that's who they'll make you. But if you're showing yourself to be a wife, guys adjust so quickly.
Mhm.
I mean, and I see this in myself. I see this in, my brother-in-law's
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law was a bachelor for over 35
Yeah.
years, doing a lot of good stuff in the community. And as soon as my sister came around,
And she
you
was
know,
a single mom in her
yes,
50s.
it was
Yeah.
like he's like, man, he's chilling at home. He sleep at 8.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's how I
Yeah.
am now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Look, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. Let me go watch a movie. I want to relax.
Mhm.
2 minutes later, I'm asleep. I didn't see
Yeah.
any of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's like we want to get out of that in this area. We still chase you, but we don't want to chase 5, 6 women. We
Mhm.
just want to chase that one
Mhm.
woman. And once we get that one woman, now we're able to relax. And it's in so many cases, it's so easy for healthy guys to just focus on that one woman,
Mhm.
because that was the intent all along.
Yeah. Yes. So good, babe. I love how you broke that down. And it's so good for the women to hear that because
Yeah.
this is how most men are wired.
Hmm.
But we activate different parts of the man.
Yes.
So he will be maybe different with you if you haven't done that inner healing. But of course, for the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy that we coach and they go through our programs, they're attracting these types of guys. Just this Saturday, we had a coaching call with a bunch of our women in the FEA and the Feminine Energy Academy. And it was so encouraging to hear some of the women that have been doing the inner work and how they are attracting the most incredible men right now.
Mm.
They're on dates. These men are provider men. They're spoiling them. They're, taking care of bills and all this stuff. They purposely are dating for
Mm.
marriage. They're coming to the girl saying, no, I want to date for marriage. And so the women, the reason why they're in the academy with us is because they're re-regulating through that,
Yes.
right? Because it's an ongoing process. It's not just, oh, let me attract a great guy.
Mm.
You have to understand at a nervous system level how to feel safe with the guy, and so you don't self-sabotage it. It's the equivalent of money. So maybe you attract money really easily. This was me, by the way, so no judgment.
Yes.
You could manifest money so easily. You can attract money, but you couldn't keep it. It
Mm.
was like as soon as you got the money, it's like you manifest another bill or somebody needs something, and right? Let me know if I'm talking to anybody, right? And the reason why is at a subconscious level, if you didn't grow up with money like me, never had a conversation around money, the nervous system isn't programmed to keep money, to feel safe receiving and circulating money and larger amounts of money.
Mm.
Right now, how what your nervous system is programmed to is the money that you're making.
Mm.
So until you expand that, this is another huge thing I teach women in the Feminine Energy Academy because it's the same principles. Until you can expand your energetic capacity to receive and hold and
Mm.
release more money, you're going to stay at that level.
and
Yeah.
and this right here, this is a trigger warning. So, but it's a good trigger warning. Lady
Okay.
said she once told a guy that she hated snow, and then he booked a trip to somewhere that there was snow, and she didn't respond. So, so I wanted you to just talk about it, because it's more about how we respond to things
Yeah.
that we don't like, or things
Yeah.
that necessarily trigger us, as well as us really having, as we talk about that list, the list of negotiables
Yeah.
and non-negotiables. Those things have to make sense, or
Yeah.
else no one's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And so here's the thing. That's why it's really important, ladies, to do the inner work, have that self-awareness, because sometimes women, here's, you might not realize you're doing this, but this is a big way that smart women, self-sabotage.
Mm.
You know all this stuff
Mm.
and you have a list of all the things you want in a man. And you're like, I'm not settling for anything outside of this list, right? But you're actually using it as a form of avoidance. At a nervous system level, I see this all the time, especially with my smart women,
Yeah.
my really smart, successful women. They're like, this is what I want and I'm not compromising, you know. but you haven't done your nervous system work, you haven't done your inner healing. And anyone that doesn't come even close to that, you just push away,
Mm,
because deep down at a nervous system level, you don't actually feel safe
mm,
around the masculine. You might feel safe in a situationship,
mm.
right? You might feel safe hooking up. This is why there's a lot of adults just having, just hooking up, because that feels safe. It's just a quick
Yeah.
fix, but you don't actually feel safe falling in love,
Mm,
or you don't feel safe actually getting married again. Maybe you're falling in love, but you're not actually getting married, and getting married to a healthy, safe, secure man,
mm.
right? So these are things that
Yes.
we do to self-sabotage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rosette Herbert said, "How long does it take to heal or reset your nervous system?"
You know what? It depends, because everybody is different. And it's kind of like this. You want to look at it like this. How long were you playing in those old patterns for? Right? Have you been playing in these old patterns since childhood? Right? But I'm also a big believer in God and the power of God. And I believe that God is a redeemer. I,
Hmm.
at my core, believe that mercy triumphs over judgment. I believe at my core, in my core, that God is outside of time. Therefore, we get to collapse timelines and also tap into that, where something, if just out of pure head knowledge, according to the textbooks, it might take you 10 years to, heal your nervous system. I don't believe that.
Hmm.
I believe with God, all things are possible. And as long as you're willing and you're coachable, God says that, he resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble.
Mm.
That means you're coachable. So if you can wholeheartedly like present yourself to God, like, this is what I did. I'm just keeping it real. Like, God, I need help in this area. I need wisdom in this area. I need healing in this area. And I took the actual action steps,
Mm.
meaning I'm working with somebody. This is why I created the Feminine Energy Academy, because I had spent over 100K in coaching. This is before he came to into my life. And I was still having mental blocks. I was still having love blocks. I was still having money blocks in my business. And it wasn't until I really discovered, the energy work, the nervous system re-regulating, and how this all tied together, and really allowing God to come in and heal me, that I was able to quantum leap, and collapse those timelines.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, my husband is in the picture. So the long answer short is, it's a journey. It's like my skin right now. It's peeling off in chunks. It's not peeling off all clean all
Yeah.
together. Healing is like that, where you might heal one area of your life, and trauma is like this, right? Where you can heal one area of your life, and as you heal, another thing might come
Yes.
up. The most important thing is you have the tools to re-regulate your nervous system during the day, and you have the tools to handle triggers. And I would say, for you as a woman, until you're starting to feel secure within yourself, you've done some healing, and most importantly, you have some clarity on who you want in a husband and a father to your kids. I would say, take a break from dating and spend time re-regulating that nervous system, do some inner healing, and then you'll know when it's ready to take that, that next step, for sure.
Definitely. The girl figure says, "Love from Canada.
Oh,
I'm new
hello.
here and I love what you both are doing.
Oh, thank you.
How did Mia respond when I came back around?"
Oh, great question. Great question. So, and somebody had also asked about, what if the guy goes away and then comes back and wants to take you on a date? I wouldn't have let him take me on a date.
Mm,
So for those of you that are new here, we met on Bumble. I had been doing a lot of my inner work, a lot of my feminine energy work, but I was still on a healing journey,
mm.
and he obviously was too. We connected. It was hot and heavy.
A lot of
A
chemistry.
lot of chemistry from our trauma wounds. I didn't understand the nervous system re-regulating like I understand now. So yeah, we totally hooked up. And when you don't do things God's way, it never works. So don't even bother.
Yes.
Anyway, he pulled away. And I had enough sense, though, that when he did pull away, I ended it right
Hmm.
then, where I'm like, I'm not having texting phone
Yeah.
conversations with you. I want to date for marriage, and obviously you're not there yet, and that's okay. I wasn't triggered. I was like, be free, go do your thing, bachelor. Okay. So he went off and did off into the sunset and did his thing. And I had enough awareness that I didn't continue dating. Actually, what I did is I took time. I wasn't on the dating apps. I took time and I did more inner healing.
Mm.
And so that's really when God really was preparing me to receive my husband. So that's when I started doing deep inner work around my nervous system. I realized that I had some unhealed abandonment wounds from my father when he left, and then losing a husband to cancer. So I had this deep underlying fear of that masculine abandonment, right? That was playing out. And then, of course, then this happened, right? And so I was like, okay, before I don't want to keep playing in these patterns. We need to heal this pattern for good. I want to play in a different reality. And so I did spend about 6 months just healing. And I wasn't thinking I'm going to spend 6 months healing. It was very much more like, okay, I'm just going to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend some more time healing my nervous system, really going deep with God, healing my masculine energy wounds. That's where I've gotten a lot of this revelation that I now teach ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy about how we are the bride, healing the widow wound, healing the orphan wound, healing the peasant girl wound. This is all scripture. And so doing that, also getting my kids ready. And the interesting thing was, I was like, okay, starting September, I'm going to start rotationally dating again. Whether I feel ready or not, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back on the dating apps. And before that September came, he reached out. Now, when he reached out, he was like, I still really care about you. And I was like, okay, that's great. How are things different? This is what I asked him. I was like, how is it different this time? And then he, got into the inner work that he has been doing. He realized he needed to be more vulnerable and open up and all this stuff, right? And then he's like, I want to see you. I want to be with you. And so I was like, okay, I was still detached. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, yes. No, I was like, still detached.
That wasn't enough.
Nope. I'm like, I'm not getting attached to him until, there's a ring on my finger. And so he ended up moving to Canada. I was going to move to the US, but he moved to Canada to help me and the kids just get ready for dating for marriage. So we were dating for marriage and then also for moving. So when he came to Canada, he's like, I don't want you dating anybody else. And then I was like, what's your timeline, ladies? This is important. I was like, what's your timeline? And he said, I see us getting engaged and married, not just getting engaged and married within 6 to 12 months. It's like, okay, that works for me and my kids, because I need, we have to prepare the kids as well. And then we were so intentional in our dating time about preparing for marriage. And then we were engaged 8 months later. And then we were married 3 months after that.
Yeah, and it's so key to not just let him come back saying what he's going to do or saying how he feels, but really following up like you did and really putting timelines on it, really making things concrete, and then watching how he follows up. So don't just have open arms like he just got back from the army. Where you're just happy to see him. You really missed him in your heart. So whatever he says, it's like, okay, I trust you. Let's do it. No, it's got to be the work behind it. So we have a question it's a statement, but I want you to kind of go into it, from Lovey Timms. She says, I'm married and I feel disconnected from what my purpose is.
Oh, that's so good. I love that you said this. So for all my married ladies or ladies that have been married before, you will really understand this, because this was also how I was in my first marriage, and it's nobody's fault at all. But often what women do is they abandon themselves in the marriage. And a lot of times it's because, you have to take care of kids, you're having kids, you're taking care of your husband, you're being a good wife, right? You're doing what you were taught to do. And you might be a great wife, and it's okay to do those things, do things for your kids, do things for your husband. But what you want to do is stop abandoning yourself. So until you really heal that part of you, that inner child of abandoning yourself, you're going to keep playing those patterns. And what that looks like is overgiving. You're constantly overgiving. You're burning yourself out. You're overstretching yourself. You're people pleasing. You're just taking care of everybody, right? And so these women tend to have hormone issues. Like I had hormone issues, gut health issues, weight issues, just anxiety, right? Could be up all night, having trouble sleeping, could have some PCOS happening, some adrenal fatigue. And it's just because you're just so used to overgiving and taking care of everybody. So even if you're married, babe, we have a lot of married women in the Feminine Energy Academy who have healed this and who are healing this, where I get you to heal your inner child abandonment wound first, and then also just learning how to fall back in love with yourself. What is it that I need to feel good as a woman? Reinvent yourself, babe. right? Like you don't have to stay the same person that you
Yeah.
were 10 years ago just because you're married.
Yeah.
No, you get to reinvent yourself. You get to fall back in love with yourself. And it doesn't mean you need to have an eat, pray, love moment, some women do where they're like, screw everybody, I'm leaving. And then
Yeah.
they just leave their husband and leave their kids. And, they're seeking freedom and thrill because they've been overgiving for so long that they're just
Mhm.
like, screw it to everybody. What I invite you to do is before you get to that point is you get to reinvent yourself, fall back in love with yourself, have some fun and excitement right within the marriage. And you don't need to try to control him and, make him do anything. But how the masculine is wired, and we see this all the time with the ladies that we coach, is as you start to feel better as a woman, you start to take care of yourself. Maybe you lose some weight, you get your hormones back on track, you change how you're dressing, and you're scripting, you're journaling, you're doing all the stuff that I teach the ladies. Well, what happened is your husband's gonna be like, you're looking
Yeah.
cute. You're looking good, like a delicious snack, and you're gonna notice changes in him as well.
That's so true. That's so true. And Narisha Ali says that's happening to me right now as
Mm,
well.
so
So
good.
yes, but it's so much. And I had one question from Tanya, who's in the
Mm.
Feminine Energy
Hey,
Academy.
Tanya.
Tanya
Hot
says,
girl.
"What if you keep living Groundhog Day?
Mm.
The guy texts hi and how's your day going, and then you respond, then it happens again for days. Little interaction on dating apps."
Mm.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, I'll go into this. Like we said earlier, what guys do sometimes they'll throw guys that are in their feminine, they'll throw the handkerchief. They'll just see they'll see if you pick it up, see if you pick it
I
up and
love
give
that.
the
That's so
pick
funny.
it up and
Yeah.
give it back to
Oh
them.
my God, you're
And
hilarious.
they're just listen,
Oh, sorry.
they're copy
Uh,
pasting,
yeah.
copy
Yeah.
paste, go through it. And, until you respond or in a good way or bad way, they'll probably keep doing it. At this point, they're not interested in getting to know you. They may think you're cute, they may think you're attractive, but they're not willing to put in the work to get to know you for whatever reason. And a lot of times it could be they just don't want to get into a relationship because it's easy on the side that they're at in their mind, but they're just texting, messaging women on the app, going through it. So if they do that, don't even waste your energy worried about it or
Hmm.
thinking about it because they're not thinking about you. They're not concerned about you. Guys that are interested in you and want to get to know you, for one, they want to take you off the apps. So they don't want to text you back and forth on an app every day, have long messages on there. Good morning, beautiful. I was just checking in on you. I was thinking about you. And then they're texting you and texting you. No, they're gonna do stuff that kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel they're moving too fast. They're
Hmm.
gonna ask for your phone number.
Hmm.
They're gonna
Hmm.
ask you, can you go FaceTime? They're gonna ask you out on a date. And it's like, well, we just met. But those type of men in a lot of situations are the type of guys you want to attract because they made up their mind. They made up their mind about you and wanting to get to know you. They're not playing around with you. They're not making you feel confused. They're doing it as long as they're doing it in a healthy way where
Hmm.
they're not crossing boundaries,
Yeah.
making you feel a certain type of way. Those are the guys that you want to give energy to, not the guys that tell you good morning and you look up, it's been 8 good mornings and they haven't asked you any questions. They haven't asked you to talk off of the app or anything. Don't waste your time or energy with them because they're not wasting their time or energy trying to get to know you.
So good. So here's the thing, ladies. If you're finding yourself in this situation, what I would invite you to explore is how interested are you with yourself in
Mm,
your own life? If you within yourself are not that exciting, and in a healthy way, not like talking about party girl way,
mm,
but do you genuinely love your life? Like you were lit up like a Christmas tree, like you were having fun, and it could be fun at home, right? Like you guys, a lot of you girls know my plant story, where I was just like, trying to get into the vibes of moving and being a warm climate and
yes.
being wife energy. And I was in a small townhouse back in Canada. This is before we got together, and I like filled it with beautiful plants and I was redecorating and I was just like in this healed, beautiful energy. I had done the inner work, not just the outer work. I'd done the inner work, and I was having fun with just my life. I was doing things. I was going out with like
Mhm.
friends or my kids. I had so much going on in a healthy, interesting way that I was interesting, right? And this can be for you too. So if you're bored with yourself, people are going to be bored with you. If you genuinely, from a healthy place, not from a distracted, numbing place, but from a healthy, healed place, genuinely love your life and you genuinely think you're a really awesome person and interesting to be around and fun to talk to and have this, great energy, you're going to attract more people that are also interested in you.
Yes.
Because everyone around you is always mirroring your energy. And Tanya, I'm not saying that this is what you're doing, but it's just something to get curious about for sure.
Yes. And Narisha Ali, she says, I have a question for Mia.
Yes.
I'm dating a guy who has two daughters, and it's
Mm.
been 3 years. I haven't met them, but
Oh.
yet, but he has met my family.
Okay. Are you guys dating for marriage? Would be my very first question.
Yeah.
Are you guys dating for
And
marriage or are you guys just dating?
yes, because in situations like that, for one, I always talk about men only need 30 to 60 days before they know if you're the one, maybe six
Mhm.
months to a year before they decide to move forward in marriage with you. So if you've been dating, you
Mhm.
haven't met his kids, he's met your family, then you really have to consider, like you said,
Mhm.
is this a relationship, an exclusive relationship that's going towards marriage?
Yeah.
Or is it a situationship that's convenient that
Yeah.
we like each other,
Mhm.
but neither one of us have made the decision that marriage is super important to us to move forward with it? Because a lot of times what guys do, they do what you allow them to do. So
100% of
if
the
you,
time.
yeah, if you're allowing them to not
Mhm.
feel any type of way about what our relationship is, if he doesn't have to put a label on it, he won't.
Mhm.
It'll be like I always say, there's good people right here. This is a friend, this is a coworker,
Mhm.
this is someone that I spend time with, this is my partner,
Mhm.
everything but wife or fiance. If that's not something that you made a point, he won't make it a point. And the longer that goes on, the easier it is for him to say, well, it's just is what it is. Now what it turns into is you're chasing him to
Mhm.
make different changes within the relationship. And what you have to do in situations like this is you have to continue to have your boundaries, but you have to give space to the situation if
Mhm.
you don't feel it's going in the direction that you desire.
That's so good. Yeah, ladies, this is so important, babe. No judgment, but you have to take your power back. You have to decide, are you dating for marriage or are you not? Now, he might be like, oh, yeah, we're dating for marriage. Okay, but you need to have a timeline, babe. Otherwise, you need to move on with your life
Hmm.
because what a lot of people will do, a lot of adults will do, especially people that have kids or they've been married before, they're happy staying in
Yeah.
situationships. They are. A lot of people are just happy staying in situationships because they haven't done their inner work, they haven't done their nervous system healing, and it's convenient. It feels safe.
Yeah.
There's no label there. You guys can hook up. He gets to be in your energy, and but it's not actually progressing. And also, ladies, this is the reason why we have to take our power back is because a guy can fool around and do this, and then at 45, at 55, decide he wants to have a family,
Right.
right? Like my husband did.
Right.
And but for you, do you want to do that? And especially if you want to have kids, right? So I would be having not a triggered conversation. Make sure you've done your inner work, you've done the inner healing, you do the stuff that I teach you, that we both teach you on here and in the FEA, in the Feminine Energy Academy. Your nervous system is calm and regulated. You're able to detach, but then you need to have that conversation with him of, are we dating for marriage, or like where do you see this going? And if he is just like, I don't know, we'll see, we'll go with the flow,
Mm.
or maybe next year we can talk about marriage.
Right.
No. Like, okay, you're not mad. Like,
Yes.
okay, babe, I hear you. You know what? You got a lot going on.
Yes.
I get it. I totally get it. I don't want to stand in the way of your plans. So I'm going to just, gracefully bow out,
Yes.
have a nice life. Okay. And I'm dating for marriage now.
Mm.
And that's it. And you have a smile on your face. And then he's going to be
Yes.
shocked. Let him feel whatever he needs to
Don't
feel,
hurt them.
especially if you do it from a not from a place of anxious attachment or anger or drama. You're just totally calm like a
Mm.
cucumber, calm and cool like a cucumber. You're unbothered, you're not triggered, and you just value yourself
Yes.
enough to, no, I'm dating for marriage, have a
Yes.
nice life.
Trust me, it
Yeah.
works all the time.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Mason de Perel. I think I said it right.
I love your girls'
Yes, I
questions.
have a question. Let me see it. I have a question for Mia. I'm really trying to heal my nervous system
Mm,
with your content, but some days it's going well. Some days it's like
yeah.
before, I feel really heavy in my gut,
Yeah.
agitated. not at peace.
I'm so glad you have this awareness. And the beautiful thing about this, ladies, is we make our YouTube channel free and available to you girls just to help with that awareness.
Hmm.
But in all honesty, we need to go deeper. We need to go deeper. And so, what I would encourage you to do, babe, because you've already kind of been on this healing journey, and it sounds like you do need to go deeper with re-regulating. I would encourage you to jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. It's actually free right now for a week, so you could literally jump in today and you can binge watch no, I was going to say intermittent fasting. we also have intermittent fasting weight loss programs in there, but the inner healing, nervous system re-regulating content in there, you can private message me in there. When you jump in, you'll actually get a message from me asking you, hey, what's going on in your life? What do you really want to focus on? And you can let me know, and I will make sure that you get those deep inner healing, nervous system re-regulating videos, and you can just try them out. It's embodiment work. And if you love it, you can stay, great. You can binge watch it. And if you don't want to, you can always leave. It's not a big deal at all. But we're so confident that you're going to feel an energetic shift. You're going to feel a shift in your nervous system right away, like within 24 hours or within that week, because this is what we see with our ladies, that this is why we make it available free for you to even just try it out and see if it resonates for you. And I specialize in nervous system re-regulating, not only in relationships, so dating and marriage, but also around money and business, like social media, expanding your money energetics. And I've had a lot of money wounds myself, so really re-regulating your nervous system around money traumas, debt, stuff like that. And then also around hormones and weight loss, because for the woman, the nervous system, the feminine energy, and the hormones are all interconnected with each other. You can't separate any of them. So that's why we have different programs in there for all of those different things. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And we have a question from Rosetta. She says, I recently was rejected by a guy I like because he said he doesn't want a situation where the woman makes more money because if we get into an argument, women call the man broke. Shake my head.
Mm.
So,
Okay,
so
do you want to go? And then
I'll
I'll
start
go.
it off
Yeah,
with that.
I love these.
For I know you do. For one, really, just the whole language behind being rejected by a man feels like you're going towards him. So you want to make sure that you're in your feminine, that he's coming
Mm.
towards you, and you're not chasing him, because if you're chasing him, you're getting rejected. But if he's coming towards you, then you're the one that's really making the decision. Do you
Fire.
want to be with him? So
Yes.
getting rejected is not the language of somebody's who's really just soft and just in their feminine in that situation. Not that you're not feminine. Also, you
That's
really
so good.
you really don't want to date or be with a man who's not confident. And I say all of it comes down to confidence. Now, as far as you making more than money than him, that happens. I mean, it's not always that he's going to make more money. It's about him being a provider in his providing energy. So if you make $1 more than him, then that doesn't make you the one who's calling the shots, or that doesn't change the dynamics of the relationship. But the part that I really want to point out for him is coming up with these scenarios about what's going to happen if something happens and then this happens, right? Like that's too much to think about. And if he's thinking that far, that means he's wounded. That means he's been in a situation where he's gotten cursed out by a woman, and he responded in the way that wasn't in his masculine, and now he's attracting the same type in his mind. Every woman's the same because of his situation and because of his experience. So you don't want to go into a relationship or try to pursue a relationship with a man that's already not confident enough to be with you just because of one thing that hasn't even happened. You haven't had an argument or anything concerning it, but he's projecting, and that's what's going to happen in the relationship. So just again, don't you shouldn't, as a woman, you won't get rejected if you're in your feminine, and especially starting a relationship off, you can't get rejected because you chose him. Secondly, you want to make sure that you don't get into a relationship with a guy who's not confident just within himself, because if he's not confident in that, he's probably not confident in other areas as well.
So good, babe. That was so fire. I didn't even think of it like that, but that's so true, right? Because the masculine is designed to be able to handle rejection. Like their nervous system is designed to handle rejection.
Mm.
This is why guys are the ones that are okay with going up to women. They
Yeah.
get rejected and they're not like destroyed in their self-esteem, right? Most masculine energy
Yeah.
men, they're used to it. Like
Yeah.
you're literally
Yeah.
built for it as a hunter
Yeah.
to handle it. So you as a woman, that shouldn't even cross your mind that you're being rejected.
Right.
Right? Like maybe he fell away, his loss, whatever, right? Or you can look at it like rejection is protection, right, from God. But yeah, you're not even in that energy
Mm-mm.
at all. So that was so good.
Yes.
Also, ladies, there's a couple things I really want to unpack a little bit more about what you're talking about, because sometimes women think that he has to make more money than me in order to be a provider, and that is so far from the truth.
Mm.
He can make the same or
Mm.
less money than you, but he is the provider.
Yeah.
Provider is an energy state.
Mm.
Provider is, he's the one that's looking out for you. He's taking care, yes, of the finances 100%, but he's also just looking out for you, making sure you're good, making sure you're safe, so you can turn off your brain, right? I'm not saying all the time, but a
Yeah.
lot of times you can turn off your brain and not be all up in your head all the time. The head is the masculine, right? And the body is the feminine. Now we have both. But for a lot of women that are used to being their masculine, you're all up in your head. This is what the anxiety is from. This is what the hormone issues are
Yeah.
from. This is what the overdoing, over hustling, giving, taking care of everything. That's all that energy, right? And so when you want to be with a partner, you want to be with a man where you can turn that off, right? Maybe not completely, but you get to relax a little bit more because his nervous
Yeah.
system, his hormones can handle it. Like he feels better as a man providing and
Yes.
protecting for you, right? It's how he's been wired.
Yes.
He's the sperm, we're the egg. Okay, you can take it up with God.
Yes.
That's how God's made it,
Yes.
right? But the thing is, I think a lot of times women don't realize this, and now that we're coaching a lot more, we're seeing this with sometimes with women, where women can throw this in guys' faces.
Mm.
So you have to be so careful with the tone that you use and some of the words that you're saying towards him. So if you are, especially if you're fighting or something like that, and you're mentioning these things, men don't forget those
Yeah.
things. So if he's feeling disrespect, and I'm not saying this is you, okay, at all. I'm saying just in general, a general scenario. If you guys are fighting and you're starting to look down at him for maybe he doesn't make as much money as you and you're bringing it up, or you're like, well, I'm paying all the bills, or
Mm.
like you have that energy, that's going to activate that competitive
Yes.
energy in him. He's not going to be activated in his provider. Let me just take care of you, make sure you're good, baby energy.
Mm.
He's going to be like, I don't want to deal with this because I don't want you to throw in my face that I don't make as much money
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah. And I saw some guy
Yeah.
that said providing is physical, not energy. And I'll just speak to that
Well, yeah,
real quick.
yeah,
And the thing is,
partly true. Yeah.
it's both.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah.
Because it's how you make her feel as well. It's not
So
only
good.
about what you do for her, because you can't physically make her feel a certain way. It's your energy that you're giving out. It's what you're doing,
Mhm.
not what you're buying her. So
Mhm.
what you're
Mhm.
doing, you're protecting her. You're going out working. You're doing things that's showing her that
Mhm.
that she's safe.
Yeah.
That she's safe in those areas. You're careful with how you speak to her,
Mm.
right? So you're not just saying anything that comes to mind. You're not degrading her or anything. So your energy and your tone and how you speak to her. So a
Mhm.
lot of times, because this is how we grew up,
So good,
provider
baby.
protector was okay. I bring home the money and then
Mhm.
I do whatever I feel like doing.
Mhm.
Now she doesn't necessarily feel safe.
Mhm.
She's taken care of, but she doesn't feel safe because we were even watching a movie last night
Mhm.
about someone who's undercover. It's like he's always out. I don't know what he's doing.
Mhm.
She didn't feel safe. So
Yep.
you can't feel safe. The woman can't feel safe if the only thing you're providing is money. If the only thing you're
So good.
providing is something physical, sex or something like that. No, you have to speak to her a certain way. You have to move a certain way
Mhm.
for her to feel protected, for her to feel like she's in her feminine, for her to feel safe. So I think that's one of the
Mhm.
old paradigms that we used to live under, where
Yes.
it's like, okay, I'll go out and make the money, and I don't have to do anything else, and
Mhm.
she'll just have to take it.
Yeah.
But those are relationships a lot of times that are just functioning and not thriving because you're
Mm.
not doing anything to make sure that she feels 100% safe.
Oh, babe, that was
Yeah.
so good. And all the women said, Amen. Amen. Yes.
No,
That's
but I
right.
definitely love the questions, because these are a lot of things that men think about too. And
Yes.
if we don't have these discussions, we'll just do what we've seen by default,
Exactly.
but we'll get those same results too.
Exactly. And also the heart of the husband has to safely trust her,
Mhm.
or he will have no lack of gain.
Mm.
Right? Or so he can so he will have no lack of gain in Proverbs 31. So his heart needs to also feel safe with her, right? It's like
That's so true.
both of us.
That's so true. So Kimberly Court says, I believe the FEA has a program dealing with hormones and weight loss. Does that
Yes.
mean you help menopausal women with losing weight as
Oh,
well?
baby girl, that's my specialty. Okay. So before we jumped on, into YouTube and started helping people with dating and in marriage, I was a hormone coach. So
Mhm.
my specialty is helping women with perimenopause weight loss,
Mm.
PCOS weight loss, adrenal fatigue, fertility, all of these things. So yeah, that is my jam. So in the and so that's why I included all my hormone weight loss programs in the Feminine Energy Academy, because what I noticed coaching the women with their hormones is how closely tied it was to their relationships. And what I noticed with, helping these women get really great results, like reversing the PCOS, reversing the cortisol, re-regulating their nervous system, the perimenopause symptoms were going away, the menopause symptoms were going away. But what was also happening is they were attracting men.
Mm.
And then that's when I really discovered that connection between feminine energy and hormones and relationships. So it's a natural progression. So we have that all in the Feminine Energy Academy for you. So you have access to everything. Before I used to have it separated, but that's why the girls it's like an all you can eat buffet in there, but in a healthy way, where I have a menopause weight loss program. It's a 90-day challenge where I teach you about your hormones. I have a 90-day cortisol detox and hormone belly weight loss program as well, where I teach you about your hormones, intermittent fasting, how to eat, but also do a lot of inner healing and nervous system re-regulating with you in there as well. And then I have 3 other programs in there to help with body reshaping, snatching that waistline. You don't need to go to the gym. I even have like a bone broth. You girls have seen me talk about bone broth. I have a bone broth weight loss program in there. I have stomach vacuuming in there. It's all in there for you. And you can actually try it for free. If you jump in the FEA, you have 7 days to try it out for free. So you can literally go in there today, check out the weight loss programs, check out the dating and marriage programs, and see if it resonates with you. Yeah.
Yes. And Dana says, yes, so worth being part of the Feminine Energy Academy. Not only do you gain knowledge, but you also have a lot of women,
Mhm.
a lot of support system
Yeah.
as you go through your ups and downs in life.
Yeah, exactly. We have women that have come through a lot of health challenges, have healed from cancer, have reversed PCOS, have reversed the menopause hot flashes
Yeah.
and all of that. That are getting engaged, getting married. We have women in there that are going through divorce right now, and they're in there just finally choosing themselves. They're not abandoning themselves anymore. They're working on their body. They're working on their nervous system. They're working on their health, and that's where Coach B and I spend our time. So not only do you get access to the programs, but you have our coaching support. That's our coaching platform where you can private message me, you can post questions, you can hear from me, you can hear from Coach B, you can hear from the other women in there and their journeys as well. And it's for women only. It's your safe place.
And we have a couple of comments and then a question. Stacy Wood says, yes, hormones and nervous system is key to leveling up.
Yes.
D Chosen One says, if you're not in the academy, you're sleeping and need to wake up. Join
Oh,
today.
thank you so much. And I know Tanya had a really cool question, but thank you for saying that, ladies. I mean, these are women that are in the FEA that they're seeing real results, right? So that's why they can confidently jump on here. They're not paying, they're not being
Not
paid
at
to
all.
say this.
Not at all.
They're being super genuine and they want their sisters to heal too.
Yes.
So yes.
So Tanya says, how do you determine when something is a spiritual attack or a nervous system issue and being feminine?
Oh, I love this. This is a journey I've been on. And I think, you have a lot of experiences too, coming from the church,
Exactly.
casting out demons.
Exactly. Go, go, go.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Okay, side story before we get all serious. Our first conversation, on Bumble. It's like we were talking about our just our past in the church because we were both intercessors on the prayer team, casting out demons, like all this stuff. Oh my gosh, you guys! If you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. That was so funny. Okay. So so the thing is, Tanya knows. So what I've learned, Tanya, and we're gonna be super honest with you girls. A lot of times when you come from that environment, you over spiritualize everything, and you spiritually bypass the actual healing you need. So you intellectualize a lot of this stuff. So and you know this because you know all the scriptures, you go to church, you know the promises of God are yes and amen, you know, but you still are functioning as the head and not the bride. What does that mean, ladies? Well, the head is the doing, right? It's the doing, but God is the head, right? We're the bride. We're in our receiving energy. So how you know that you are spiritually bypassing, I'm going to talk about spiritual bypassing first, and then we'll talk about spiritual attacks, because I love this conversation. But anyway, you spiritually bypass things, because this was me, where you know all the answers, you know the scripture, you're praying, you're doing, you're serving at church, you're in the ministry, you could be a pastor, all this stuff, right? You're in that ministry, but you're not experiencing fruit. You're not experiencing the fruit. You're not experiencing peace in your body. You're not experiencing peace in your nervous system. You're not experiencing peace in your energy. You're not even relaxing as the bride. You know, this is why the Word of God talks about resting, that we don't need to toil, right? Delight yourself in the Lord, and He brings you the desires of your heart. He is the masculine, we are the feminine, right? And if you're spiritually bypassing everything, you're not actually doing the inner work and inner healing that we've actually been called to do. And the only reason why I know this is because I was on the other side. I was the girl a few years ago going through, you know, horrible cancer treatment. Like my late husband was going through cancer treatments. We were doing prayer groups, casting out demons, all the stuff that Christians do. And not experiencing any peace, not experiencing any healing in the body. Hormones are all over the place, stressed out, not sleeping. You know, you can speak all the words, speak all the scriptures, but your body is like deteriorating, right? This is why in the church, the divorce rate is the same. The divorce rate in the church is the same as outside of the church. This is why addictions are the same. The addiction levels, porn levels, all that stuff is the same in the church as it is outside of the church. And if you don't believe me, just go look it up, right? And it's because the knowledge the knowledge puffs up, but it doesn't build up. It's not actually making the embodiment changes that we've been called to do. So what I love about what we teach is, yes, we believe in these truths. They are truth. It's the Word of God, right? That's our reference point. That's our North Star. But we have to be able to embody it. It's in the body. Who's the body, everyone? We're the body. Right? So if we're not experiencing it in the body, meaning you're not seeing the fruit in your life, you're not seeing the fruit in your relationships, in your body, in your hormones, in your nervous system, then I promise you that you are just spiritually bypassing a lot of stuff, meaning that it's all the knowledge is up in the head, but it hasn't been embodied. Okay. So now it's like, how do you know that this is not the devil that's attacking you?
Right.
The devil's not attacking you, and it's just your hormones, and you're just perimenopause. So it could be a demon, it could be perimenopause. How do I discern this? Right? Real talk, right? Because it's true. Okay, it's so interesting. It's like because I asked that same question, and I really came to God with that. And what I learned is, you know, all the promises of God are yes and amen. And I truly understood what authority meant. And if you truly believe you're a child of God, if you truly believe that you're a child of the Most High, that Christ lives in you and you have Christ consciousness, then you literally have nothing to fear. Like you literally have authority over everything. So when the Word of God talks about taking dominion over the earth, we think outside. No, but God's talking about your emotions. He's talking about you. You are the earth, right? We were made from the dust. right, ladies? We were made, and gentlemen, we were made from the dust of the earth. That means that this body is the earth.
Mhm.
And so we're supposed to take dominion over that. That means that you should actually feel the changes. You should actually feel the changes in your emotion, in your nervous system, and in your body. And so what happens a lot of times is we think it's the devil's attacking you, and really it's you need to actually just make some healthy
Yeah.
changes within your body.
Yes. And it comes down to
Yeah.
really reprogramming your subconscious,
Mhm.
because what happens is,
Mhm.
like anything, and we're not going to go too deep into this,
Mhm.
but with the enemy, he just plants seeds. So
Mhm.
those seeds grow. He's not doing anything. It's you and your subconscious that
Mhm.
are making these bad decisions, making these decisions that you don't want to make because what's been planted on the inside of you. So it's so important to reprogram what's on the inside of you with the word,
Mhm.
with things that are lifting you up, with things
Mhm.
that are
Mhm.
positive, because by default you'll go what's
Yeah.
into your subconscious, and you'll have the battle within yourself,
Yeah.
and the devil's nowhere to be found. It's you within yourself making these decisions because what you've been put on the inside of you. And it's so interesting
Yeah.
because you find yourself replaying songs that you heard when you were
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Only thing you need to hear is the beat. And now
Mhm.
you know the entire song conscious. So that's how our body works, that's how our mind works. And that's why it's so important
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
reprogram so you don't have these battles within yourself.
Yeah, I mean, a kingdom divided cannot stand,
Hmm.
right? A kingdom divided cannot stand. So yes, of course, that means, you know, in the nations and stuff,
Yes.
in the government and all that stuff. But it starts with you. The kingdom is within you.
Hmm.
So if you have turmoil within you, if you are divided within you, you have that duplicity energy, you have that double-mindedness, then you're not going to be able to receive the things that you're calling in. That's what scripture talks about in James, right? If you're even doubting.
Hmm.
And then it's like, it's what you're meditating on,
Hmm.
right? This is why scripture talks about meditate on the word
Yes.
day and night, and then you will make your way prosperous. Then you will find good success. But most people are meditating on things that don't align with that. And
Hmm.
that's why you're having all this turmoil inside of you.
Hmm.
And then you're saying the devil's attacking you.
Yeah.
Not you, Tanya,
Right.
other people, right?
That's no, it's so true. And we definitely, I love those
Oh,
conversations,
yes.
but definitely love the question as well. It was a few more questions.
Yes.
Tanya says we need this in the church desperately, but
You know what's
they
so,
say it's a woo woo
they
and
do.
push it away.
They do.
You
They
can
do.
talk about that, babe.
I've had to heal some church wounds. It's so interesting because, and we can have a master class on this eventually, but yeah, they believe that, the feminine energy is woo woo, even though the Word of God calls us the bride.
Mm, yeah.
Right, even though all the scripture, Proverbs 31, all the women in scriptures, it represents our feminine
Mm,
energy, right? And the masculine and feminine coming together, and manifestation is, the birth of that. But
mm.
anyway,
And this
I won't get
is,
into that on this
I
YouTube. We
know.
can talk way more
Yes.
about this in the FEA though, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Narisha Ali, she says, is it better to have the same religion as your partner?
It's really important that you have the same values and
Hmm.
beliefs, 100%, whatever that means for you. Because I know some people, culturally, they might be culturally Muslim or culturally Jewish or culturally Christian, but that's not really how they make their
Hmm.
decisions. So it's really, really important for you to know and have clarity within you what's important for you. What are your non-negotiables? How do you want to raise your
Yeah.
children? What belief system do you want to raise your children in? Because you might think it's not a big deal, and then all of a sudden you have kids,
Yeah.
and like one person wants to have a bar mitzvah, and the other person wants to have, first communion,
Yeah.
because they're Catholic,
Yeah.
and then there might be some turmoil there,
Yeah.
right? So it's really important that you have these discussions ahead of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. Brenda Estrada, she's in the Feminine Energy
Ooh, hey,
Academy.
Brenda.
How can I let go of past hurt while trying to
Mm.
rebuild a relationship?
So good, babe. Okay, so here's the thing, ladies. In order to release past relationship trauma, is you have to actually feel it. I know that sucks. You don't want to, you just want to
Hmm.
avoid it and move on. I tried that, doesn't work.
Mm.
Okay, it'll come out in other ways. So the best thing to do is I have a divine dating for marriage program. I want you to go through every single step. I have steps in there, 5 steps. I want you to go through it. And I want you to not just, because this is what some women do, especially my women that are in their masculine energy, they fly through all the videos and they haven't embodied any changes. And then they're like, why hasn't anything changed? You know? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your time, and you're going to, and if you're dating, as triggers come up, we're not going to avoid them anymore. We're going to get curious. We're going to meet it with compassion, and we're going to lean into that trigger. We're going to feel what we need to feel. We're going to discover what's that root pattern that's playing out. What's the root story that's playing out that no longer serves you, that you need to release for good. Okay. That's going to be really, really important while you are dating and in the marriage phase, because it's going to continue, even when you're married, like us, to be able to do that. But you don't want to wait until you're married. You want to start doing this when you're single, when you're just dating, and you're exploring things, you're dating, you're talking to guys, and then if you notice, hey, I'm getting anxious because he hasn't texted back, he hasn't planned. It's like, oh, okay, Tasha and Coach B were talking about this. Maybe I need to heal that anxious attachment. Also, take the attachment quiz that's in the FEA. Okay. Take that attachment style quiz so you can do some self-discovery from a place of so much love and compassion, and see what your patterns are. And it will also give you an action plan of things to work on as well.
And we have a couple of comments as well. It says, this is the chosen one. It's the best decision I've ever made. Literally,
Oh, so
it's
good.
worth what it costs. She says, I also got my mom to join as well.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that. We hear that all the time, and we 1000% believe it. We're just seeing so much transformation in our women. And of course, the engagements and marriages are also exciting.
And Dora says, this is beautiful. Can't wait to join the Feminine Energy Academy.
Yes.
Donna, who's in the Feminine Energy Academy, says, the best program I have ever joined.
Wow, thank you. So many people say that, and it's because we have a combination in there where you literally have all the weight loss, hormone, inner healing programs, and then you have all the divine dating and marriage programs, and then you have feminine energy embodiment programs, and then you have the energetics around money programs. It's all in there.
Everything.
And then you have us in there who are literally coaching the ladies. You'll see in real time, the ladies will post their screenshots. Hey, this guy said this. What do you think? We soundboard with you. They're starting up their dating profiles, and we give them feedback on their photos and how to write their profiles, or they're having marriage issues or divorce issues, legal issues. And we're helping them with that. And then every Saturday we have an in-depth coaching masterclass, and it's exclusively for the women in that Feminine Energy Academy. You can catch all the replays in there right now. Today, you can go binge watch all the masterclasses. That's when we go really deep. So every time you see me kind of cutting myself off, like, okay, don't go that deep, because this is YouTube, Natasha.
Right.
Okay. We go really deep. It's totally unfiltered in there. Yeah.
And the chosen one said that quiz hurt my feelings.
Oh, babe, girl. It's okay. It's okay. This is why we're learning. And here's the thing with the attachment style quiz, ladies. So last Saturday, we did a coaching session where you get to discover your attachment style and how it's showing up in your body. So how women hide with their weight, how they dress, anxiousness, all that stuff. It was like all about hormones and body related. This Saturday, we're having a coaching session to show you how your attachment style is showing up in dating and marriage. Okay. And then the week after that, I'm going to be teaching you girls how your attachment style and dysregulated nervous system is showing up with money. So your money patterns. And it's going to be so good. So this whole month is all about that. But if you're watching the replay right now, you can go and watch all the replays. Like, we have a whole coaching replay section. That's where all the master classes are in there. And you can go and binge watch those today. They will completely change your life. Yeah.
And we have a question. This was from our YouTube comments.
Okay.
Says, how can we get to know someone well if they live abroad?
Oh, well, that was us.
Exactly. This is simple.
Okay, honey, do you want to give the masculine?
Yeah. So
answer?
Getting to know someone well, and it's got to be for a purpose, not just getting to know them, but it's got to be something that's moving forward. Because if you're just getting to know them, then they're not going to, as a guy, a healthy masculine energy, they're not going to spend too much time just getting to know you. But if it's for the purpose of getting married, it's a lot of the same principles if that person was there. It's the communication. That's
Mhm.
always key. It's following up. It's planning. And, I think it really started during COVID when
Mhm.
people started planning dates
Yeah.
online. People were dating, they were getting together with friends online, having wine nights and all of that online. So
Mhm.
it's planning getting together, planning conversations, planning FaceTimes, but ultimately planning meeting in
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
So you can only do that for a certain amount of time. Then now you become pen pals. It's like the old days when you would put a note in a bottle or something. That's what it that's what it turns into, and hope somebody reads it. But you really want to make sure that he's planning to come see you. All of this is with the intent of getting together,
Mhm.
of moving forward in the relationship, getting engaged, getting married. So having those timelines instead
Mhm.
of just allowing things to drag out would really allow you to really get to know someone even better, because it's so easy to communicate, it's so easy to talk to people being in any place now because of
Mhm.
the internet. But you want to make sure that you're specific on timelines in really getting to know someone if they're not in the same location, because it's the easiest thing for him to say is, it's too hard, or I'm too busy, or it takes too
Mhm.
long. In those situations, you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Is this something I want to pursue? If it is, then have those boundaries. If you're not on the same page with meeting up and getting to know each other on another level and meeting in person, then you might have to step away from it, even if he makes you feel good. And one more thing I want to add:
Go for it, baby.
make sure you see him face to
I was
face.
just gonna say.
No text message. I need FaceTime. I need to be able to see that you're a real person, because it's easy to fake it being abroad. I've heard
Mhm.
so many different
Mhm.
stories. He's not feeling well. He can't go online. It felt like the
He's paralyzed.
exactly. It felt like the Tinder dwindler or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
was.
the Tinder
The
swindler.
Tinder swindler. You don't want to be caught up in those situations.
Okay, so from the feminine perspective, how you can stay super magnetic when you're talking to guys, that are long distance, is it's really important that you do FaceTimes. And this isn't just in general, even if he's local, because men are visual.
Hmm.
Ladies, this is your superpower, okay? So you need to use this to your advantage. So, yes, we want to make sure he's real and he's not AI generated. That's really important, okay, first of all. And he needs to know that you're not AI
Right.
generated as well. But then once you guys have gotten past that point, you guys know that you're both real people and it's safe. It's important that you're seeing each other on FaceTime, because he's gonna be triggered in a healthy way, in a masculine
Hmm.
way, when he gets to see you. So
Hmm.
when you're FaceTiming with him, make sure you look cute. Trust every time we talked,
Yeah.
we
Every
FaceTime.
time.
I was looking like a
Every
delicious
time,
snack.
right? Because you want to give them something to come back to.
Yes, and like want to see you, right?
Yes.
That doesn't mean you're wearing the hair bonnet and no makeup on when you're FaceTiming him. Oh, he needs to love me for me. No, not yet, ladies. Okay. When you guys are married, maybe, but in the dating phase, you want to look good
Yeah.
every time you see him. Okay.
Hmm.
And then you're just having fun FaceTiming, you're talking, and then he's planning dates. Now, if he lives far away, then he is planning to come and
Yes.
see you, or he's flying you out.
Yep.
That's really, really important. And this is why we ended our conversations, because that wasn't happening. So I was like, you don't get to FaceTime with me anymore. See you later. And and then they get to miss you. And
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, 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 yeah, let's do whatever we need to do. So you're in my life
Yes.
for good. That's how it works.
And we have Zona. Hello from Switzerland.
Oh, hello from Switzerland.
Yes.
I'm just seeing here. I didn't realize we were on for so long.
Oh wow. We have a couple more, and then
Okay,
we'll
so
we'll
many
go
good
ahead and.
questions, you guys.
Rena says, "I sleep and wake up on FEA."
Oh, that's so good. And so the reason why so many women have replaced their social media with the Feminine Energy Academy is it's kind of like social media, but in a healthy way, where
Hmm.
we're really re-regulating your nervous system and rewiring your subconscious mind. So I have programs in there where it's just audio
Mm.
activations, where you can just be listening to the audio activations over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again, and it will prime your
Yeah.
energy. It will help you just re-regulate your nervous system. It'll help you heal. And, we have, of course, our master classes and our
Yeah.
trainings and all that stuff as well.
And many of the ladies listen to this at work
Yeah.
while they're traveling
Driving.
home, whatever the case is. It's just an easy listen to, and you're able to really
Yeah.
reprogram J-
You just marinate in
yeah,
it.
yeah, without changing your lifestyle.
Well, the reason why I created it this way is because I was a single mom, right? I was a single mom, and every single mom with kids know that you live in your car, right, ladies? You live in the car and you live in the kitchen when you're a single mom,
Yeah.
if you're not working. And so you need to listen to stuff. So, how this is designed, because some women, they're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this stuff. No, you actually don't have to do anything. You can literally go in the FEA and turn off your brain.
Mm.
Like, it's all done for you. You can turn off your brain and you can just listen.
Mm.
You could literally just put your earphones in and just listen, because that's what I needed. For there was a few years, ladies, where I didn't know or understand so many of the stuff that we teach you on here. And what got me out of bed when I was a single mom with 4 little kids, what got me out of bed was just putting my earphones in and
Mm.
listening to audios. And so that's how I designed the FEA. Is the same thing for you, where a lot of women were like, this is my lifeline. This is
Mm.
how I wake up in the morning. I listen to it while I'm
Yeah.
showering, while I'm doing my makeup, while I'm driving my kids around, at work, and you're just
Yeah.
marinating in it because it makes you feel really good. It
Yeah.
helps you feel really, really good. It's very soothing to the nervous
Yeah.
system.
And
Yeah.
this is a question again from one of our YouTube videos.
I love it.
Age gap in dating is the
Mm.
best. This was the video. And this is actually Narisha Ali.
Oh.
She said, what about if the man is younger?
Ooh, okay. So, ladies, if you tend to attract men that are younger than you, okay, often, I'm not saying in every scenario this is the case, but often what's happening is the woman is more in her masculine energy, doing energy, and the man is more in his receiving energy. And, especially nowadays, us women, we just look good for our age, right? Especially if you're in my world, we look good for our age, right? And so that's also why he might be physically attracted to you. But what's actually really happening, what's playing out is typically these guys were raised by masculine energy
Hmm.
moms, either single moms or just moms that are masculine energy. And you, as a woman, if you're in your masculine, you're going to go for men based on physical attraction. And I'm not saying this is you once again, but these are the patterns that I see play out with the women that I coach. Is you go for men based on physical attraction. And there's also some trauma bonding that often happens here, where you guys are getting together, it's hot and heavy, lots of chemistry.
Hmm.
He makes you feel really confident because he's younger, and it's making you feel young and good, and he loves being with you because you're confident and you look good for your age. And he subconsciously is attracted to your mothering energy, that doing, boss babe, let
Yes.
me get it done energy. And so in these types of situations, typically what happens is the chemistry is really strong, lots of attraction, but over time,
Yeah.
once again, this is not in every situation, but over time, what happens is if you guys haven't done your inner healing, you will stay in that masculine role, and you will start to lose attraction for him because he's going to keep leaning back in his receiving energy. Is not going to show up consistently
Hmm.
for you or really take that lead role that we love as women. We want that man to take that lead role and, have direction, provide, protect us. And so you're going to start to feel turned off by him. And that's when a lot of women have turmoil. And sometimes women end up with a child out of it, right?
Mm. That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah,
You
and
want to
and, and
answer?
I just wanted to also throw out though, we have seen situations. I mean, I've had one of my girls that I've coached and helped. She's in a marriage, happy, amazing marriage with a provider man that's younger than her. So once again, I'm not saying that this is in every scenario, but the only time I've seen it work is when both people are very aware, they're
Mm.
very conscious of feminine, masculine energy and dynamics, and she's not trying to mother him. She's not parenting him. She's not controlling. She's not the provider. He's the provider. And he's really mature. He's very mature for his age.
Hmm.
A lot of times, they're single dads themselves, and they're just really, really mature, and they want to be that masculine provider role. And it's so, so important that she's not looking down at him.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
important too. I know Narisha said, I feel like he's losing attraction for me. First, it's important to understand the dynamics of the relationship. If you're
Mhm.
actually together, if
Yeah.
it's a situationship, exactly what it is,
Mhm.
then you're able to move forward from
Mhm.
there. But definitely want to make sure you get understanding and get the tools needed,
Mhm.
because it doesn't matter if he's younger, if he's
Yeah.
older, these same traits will come up if you haven't dealt with what needs to be dealt with.
Okay, can I go a little bit deeper with you on this? Because this is a really good learning example for so many women, babe. This is not just you. This is not just you. So the pattern that's playing out right now, that a lot of women go through is when the woman is anxious, like she needs to be more attractive. She needs to prove herself to him. She tends to be attracted to avoidant type men. So the avoidant type man is a man that will maybe show up for you, but not consistently. Emotions, they don't want to get too close to you. They're not really necessarily emotionally available and not necessarily consistent. Right. So you might have that attraction. You might love each other for sure, but you're kind of playing in this pattern, in this dynamic where you're feeling triggered and anxious. You need to show and prove yourself more to him, and he's kind of leaning away. Right. But you feel attracted to him. And avoidant type men that are not healed, they chase the dopamine hits. So I'm not saying this is him, but a lot of times they'll play in the patterns where they enjoy the chase. So you'll see these are the types of guys that will go and chase after the next girl, after the next girl, after the next girl. And these girls will be insecure. They will not feel good about themselves. They have kind of that anxious attachment style, and they feel triggered where they need to prove themselves to the guy. So what I would encourage you to do, if anyone's listening right now and you're like, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. It's okay, baby. I love you. You're here to heal. Okay. Don't judge yourself. Lots of compassion. Don't get mad at him. Don't start judging him and like, oh, I just realized you're an avoidant attachment style. Please don't do that. Okay. What you got to do is you got to lean back and you got to heal. Okay. You got to heal your nervous system. You got to heal so you can become secure within yourself, feel safe within yourself, because what will happen is that will allow you to detach from him. And detaching from him means that if he texts you or doesn't text you, if he calls you, he doesn't call you, you're not triggered by it anymore. You know what you're worthy of. You have clarity within yourself, and you have the self-esteem and the confidence to know that there's a perfect husband out there that wants to show up and have his energy come towards you consistently, because that's what healthy masculine energy men do. They come towards you consistently. Exactly what my husband just said. They prioritize your nervous system. They want you to feel emotionally safe. Okay, that's what you deserve. You deserve that. Whoever's watching this right now, even if you have baby daddies, even if you're 25, 65, you deserve that. Okay, but you have to decide that you deserve that, and you got to do your part, ladies. You got to train your nervous system to believe that. You might know that from a head place, a head knowledge, but you got to retrain your nervous system to believe that you are worthy for safe, secure, consistent masculine energy.
So many good questions today. We can definitely
Yeah.
go on and
Oh,
on
man.
answering them. We enjoy it. We love it. If we didn't get to your questions, definitely jump into the Feminine Energy Academy.
Yeah.
Ask the questions there right now. Right now, it's a 7-day free trial, so no
Yeah.
commitment needed. And also, you'll be able to join our masterclass this
Yeah.
upcoming Saturday and be able to binge watch everything within the community.
And I'm going to end it with this because Narisha said, so should I break up with him? What I would encourage you to do, babe, is don't react. Okay. So what I would encourage you to do, jump into the FEA, private message me, and I'm going to give you some tools to start playing with so we can soothe your nervous system first. So you can feel good. You can have some emotional clarity, but you can emotionally detach from him right now, energetically detach in the sense of you can just kind of take your energy back and work on you. And then what will happen is you'll have clarity about what you want to do, because that's one thing I specialize in, is helping you just have clarity. And then you'll say, oh, you know what, I need to shift this, I need to shift that, or I need to talk to him about this, or you know what, he's just not in alignment with what I'm calling in, so I'm just going to let this go and move on. Okay, but don't do it by yourself. Do it in a place where you're feeling supported. Okay, anyway, I know we got to go.
Yes, I mean,
I got to go get my hair done now. So
definitely enjoy the time, and we'll see you in the FEA.
okay, I love you, ladies.